What's good, boy dude and boy dudettes? It is boy dude reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing Thor, a 2011 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name, produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Paramount Pictures. It's the fourth film in the MCU, and it was directed by Kenneth Branagh, written and by the writing team of Ashley Edward Miller and Zack Steins, along with Don Pine, and stars Chris Hemsworth as the title character, alongside Natalie Portman, Tom Hiddleston, Stellan Skarsgård, Colin Farrell, Ray Stevenson, Idris Elba, Kat Dennings, Rennie Russo, and Anthony Hopkins. And the film sees Thor banished to Earth from Asgard, stripped from his powers and his hammer, Mjolnir, after reigniting a dominant war. As his brother Loki plots to take the Asgardian throne, Thor must prove himself worthy. And Sam Raimi first developed the concept of a film adaptation of Thor in 1991, but soon abandoned the project, leaving it in development hell for several years. During this time, the rights were picked up by various film studios until Marvel signed Mark Prokostevich to develop the project in 2006 and planned to finance it and release it through Paramount. Matthew Vanguard was originally assigned to direct the film for a tentative 2010 release. However, after Vanguard was released from his holding deal in 2008, Kenneth Branagh was approached and the film's release was rescheduled to 2011. And the film premiered on April 17, 2011 in Sydney, Australia, and was released on May 6, 2011 in the US. The film was a financial success, and many in the casts received praise, including Chris Hemsworth. Although the Earth elements of the film were criticized, and it did receive many sequels as well. And what I feel about this film? Well, let's talk about the good. And the good, I have to admit, is Thor. Thor is a cool dude. Like, the casting, they managed to really cast these guys, and these guys are like characters who we love and know to this day. Chris Hemsworth as Thor was absolutely phenomenal casting. Loki steals the scene. Tom Hiddleston, he is the adopted brother, and he was originally Tom Hiddleston originally wanted to be Thor. That's what he was. He did a video casting call for Thor, but ended up getting Loki, and I don't think he regrets it at all. He definitely suits the role, to be honest with you. I absolutely do love those two brothers. They bicker and they're like real brothers, you know. I do love their chemistry and their relationship. The other Earth characters, I have to admit, they're okay in this film. I mean, Natalie Portman as Jane Foster is the love interest and the scientist woman. I quite like her. I do like Natalie Portman. She's a good-looking woman. She is a good-looking woman. That is a woman. And you got Kat Dennings and Stellan Skarsgård. They exist. They're okay, I suppose. Idris Elba as Handel, although not in the film, he is pretty cool as well. And Anthony Hopkins as Odin. He's the ruler of Asgard, and he gives this stern, like, coldness to him, and he's just hot-blooded, and oh my gosh, he's just so cool. He's a very Shakespearean type of character, you know, very thou shalt not do what thou shalt. Very, you know, gets his performance and all that lot. And the thing I like about this film is that it still holds up today. Like, the scenes in Asgard look phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, my gosh, when we first pan into Asgard, it just looks gorgeous. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm sorry, but it looks, when you look at it, I know the CGI is kind of noticeable, even to modern eyes. You do kind of see it, but just to look at these pans, look at the gold, and you have Thor when he's centered, and you have his red cape, and the eyes are just drawn to that. It's the cinematography in Asgard is definitely the best I've seen in the MCU so far up to this point. It looks amazing, absolutely great. But the Earth scenes, while they do a good job, they do contrast kind of Earth to, like, Asgard in a way. And honestly, um, yeah, it is Let's go to mixed aspects. I'm sorry. But before we go to mixed aspects, let's talk about the VFX. The visual effects do hold up. Like some of those robot guys, I don't know what they're called. The Frost Giants, I think they're called. Whatever, not the Frost Giants. Those destroyers. They're pretty cool. And the transformation, like, you know, when Thor goes, you know, whenever they are sent to different worlds, and the way they do it, it looks so cool. He has a thunderstorm. It's like, I love all that. It's pretty sick, to be honest with you. But apart from that, this is where we go to our mixed aspects of the film. And when we come to the, I have to admit, I am one of those people who do like the scenes when he's on Earth. I do really like his interaction with the human characters and how he becomes from this arrogant dude into this kind of like mature young man. You know, he doesn't have his powers, and at first he's a bit pissed, but then he's like, you know what, I need to do what I need to do. I'm going to protect my friends with what I have. And he becomes worthy. Spoiler alert, but we know that already. It's predictable. And the love interest, I mean, yeah, it's kind of shoehorned, to be honest with you. The full love interest wasn't what I was always looking forward to in watching this film. I mean, you can definitely see that Jay Foster has this fondness for Thor, you know. And it's not like this love at first sight. I mean, they do develop, but I think she's attracted to him the moment she sees him. I mean, he's tall. This guy is a beast of a man. He's got muscles. He's built. Oh my gosh. But honestly, let's come to the mixed aspects of the film. And yeah, the Earth scenes are kind of boring, to be honest with you. Shield is in this film quite a bit. We do get to see a bit of Coulson, and it also introduces Hawkeye as well. But we don't get to see enough of Hawkeye. He's just there and he just disappears, and it's like, oh man. And not only that, but I have to admit, it's okay, but it kind of bores me. The look of it just looks a bit dull, to be honest with you, but I think that's what they wanted to achieve. They wanted to make Earth not that appealing compared to, you know, Asgard, and they do an even worse job setting it in London, but that's a story for another day. But anyway, the soundtrack, I have to admit, it's the first film in the MCU so far to, well, up to this point, to actually have a memorable score. I mean, we do actually have a Thor score, and I really do like that. It's really cool, it's really great. But yeah, Patrick Doyle did this composing score, and he did describe Thor as the most commercially high-profile film he did since Frankenstein. And he was trying to, you know, kind of balance the tone and the score of Asgard and Earth and all that lot. And yeah, also this song does feature the Foo Fighters song Walk as well, which I flipping love. But apart from that, Thor is a pretty visually appealing film when it wants to be, but at the same time, it's really unimpressive. It's kind of like the early days of the MCU, when they were just trying to find their ground, trying to find who they were at the time. And with that, I'm going to give Thor, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I'm going to give it a B. I think that's a decent score to give it, because I do enjoy it. I really do. I love it. I do have fun watching it, to be honest with you. But thanks for watching this review. Please like and share this video and comment down below and tell me what's your favourite MCU film. With that said, thank you for watching, and as always, oh yeah, I forgot about the villain. Before I go, let's talk about the villain. Mixed aspects of the villain. Yeah, he's forgettable as frick. His character design is forgettable. The Frost Giants are also bland and boring, and the visual effects don't even look cool on them, to be honest with you. Anyway, thanks for watching this review, and as always, Border signing out.